We flew up to Tennessee this morning to visit our friends at Caymas Boats right here behind me. Absolutely amazing facility. These guys have only been around since 2019 and they have 250,000 square feet here. We're gonna go through the entire thing. So let's go ahead and walk inside, see what the guys are up to, see if they show us around. Alrighty. It's nice and cold. It's like 40 out there. There we go.
All right.
Look at this reception.
Welcome.
My goodness.
How you doing?
How you doing,
Great.
Adam?
Good to see you.
Likewise. All right. Well, these are. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We've been excited to check out this place for quite some time. I know we've chatted about it. So, thank you for having us. First of all, absolutely beautiful lobby area. I mean, you guys, are you the designers or no?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. We aided in the design, yeah.
All right. So what do we have planned? What are you going to show us here today?
Let's go show you the operation now and let you see how we put our boats together. And see what we do here.
Sounds about good to me. Let's make that happen.
Let's go do it.
So we have the privilege of being here with Mr. Earl Bentz himself, the owner of the company, and wanted to take some time. First of all, thank you for taking a little time with us and allowing us to tour your facility. But I wanted to get into a little bit of the background of yourself, your history, and what led up to Caymas. So if you can fill us in on that, it'd be amazing.
Well, welcome, first of all.
Thank you.
I know the weather's a little different here than it is, a
beautiful.
little cooler than Miami. But I moved to Nashville, Tennessee in 1975. I had started working in the marine business in Charleston, South Carolina, which is where I'm from, with my uncle's boat repair business and working on engines, rigging boats, racing boats. I raced for 13 years and came here to go to work for Hydrosport Boat Company when Hydrosport was a little less than 1 year old. They were in the bass boat business. They were not in the offshore center console business yet. And I told the guy that owned it I would come here if he would allow me to get them in the saltwater fishing business, which we did. We introduced our first boat, New York Boat Show in 1977 at Hydrosport. So I continued to race boats for Mercury, which gave me a wonderful foundation to build my career in the marine industry, especially boat building, meeting dealers from all over the world, boat dealers that is. And I retired from racing in March of '81. I started my first business in 1983 and have been rowing my own boat, so to speak, ever since. And both bass boats, freshwater and saltwater boats. I've been building boats here in Ashland City since 1997. It's a great community here. We're a suburb of Nashville. We've got wonderful Tennessee craftsmen. In 2018, I called a lot of these people who had jobs elsewhere, and we put about 150 of my old employees back together. Like I say, the complete lamination, gel coating, assembly crew, engineering crew. A lot of the production engineers. I've got one guy here that you'll meet a little later who has been with me since 1976. He actually heads up our saltwater production.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
He's tried to retire a couple of times and failed, like me. And we built this facility here, and it's really, for boat manufacturing, state of the art, if you would. It's a lot of it's climate controlled, air conditioned in the summertime, which our employees love. Great airflow, great air makeup, and the best thing is without the people, it's just a big empty building. I mean, we've got some of the best craftsmen and the best people. Teamwork here is paramount. They all respect each other and help each other succeed. And we've got some of the best distributors and dealers around the world. So we're very blessed. And that goes back to my 50 years experience in boat building.
Well, I think it says a lot. One, that you have people working for you that have been here for 50 years. That's incredible. Must say a lot about yourself, and the fact you were able to build a team of 150 people with a concept to start a new business, and that joined you from the start also says, speaks volumes about yourself and your history. And I think the freshwater side is something maybe those who are fans of Caymas may not really know much about. So I'm excited to be able to dive into that a little bit deeper here in the factory. Definitely appreciate, the background on you, the racing. You can see all that by this beautiful office, which may be the nicest facility that we have seen. Is beautifully decorated, whether it be wife, daughters, family that contributed to it. It's an easy place to spend time in. So congratulations on what you've been able to accomplish again over here with Caymas, and thank you so much for your time and a little bit of background. And we look forward to checking out, this entire facility from one end to the other. So hopefully you guys will as well.
Welcome to Nashville, Tennessee, and
Very happy to be here.
stay away from Lower Broad tonight. Now, a lot of country music down there.
Okay, we'll do our best.
All right, Alan. So here we are in our lamination factory. This is where Caymas started at. So we originally acquired this building. It was 70,000 square feet. We built everything in this one facility right here.
Okay.
We added on about 25,000 square feet to the back of it, made it real close to a 100,000 square foot operation here. And in this operation, we built our fiberglass, all fiberglass boats, whether it be bass boats, walleye boats, bay boats, saltwater offshore fishing boats. All of them were built in this one footprint. We've since come back and added another 100,000 square foot operation, which is where we just walked through.
Yeah.
And we added we got about 250,000 square feet total of manufacturing footprint.
It's incredible. It looks like it just never ends. It's just keep looking down. It's like keeps going and going. So
it's a long straight line,
Yeah.
which we like from a manufacturing efficiency standpoint. Being able to keep the product flowing ahead and always constantly moving forward makes it very efficient operation.
how many models are you guys building now?
We've got about 22 different models today that we build.
So how you keep that organized, I have no idea. But maybe you could get into a little bit of that today, because
Yeah, we'll show you a little bit
curious
of
to
that.
know. I mean, how many boats are you guys building a year? I guess on the saltwater side and the freshwater side.
Yeah, it varies year to year, of course, but we'll build anywhere from 800 to 1,000 boats a year.
Wow.
In a normal year.
Yeah. Doesn't sound normal, but yeah, that's a lot of boats. That's a lot of boats. Above average in my eyes. But yeah, all right. You want to start with the freshwater boats first?
You bet.
or-
We'll just kind of make a lap back here and walk and talk.
Again, the guys from Caymas, I do want to mention that they do have the background in the freshwater side, which thought we would get into, because probably many of you don't know that. I knew it because we kind of chatted about it, but before we met, you guys had no idea about the background. And again, we met with Earl, spoke with him a little bit. Why don't you tell us about your background? What do you guys do here? Tell us a little bit about yourselves. We can start walking while you do it.
Yeah.
But like to learn as much as we can about you guys. It's very impressive what you've been able to do in a short period of time. I mean, 2019 to get from there, Caymas from zero to here, it's pretty impressive. So when did the freshwater stuff start?
So 2019 is when we started the first boats at Caymas.
Uh-huh.
And we started with a bass boat and a bay boat. Those were the first two boats that we launched simultaneously together.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. So I'm Adam Adkison, president at Caymas Boats. Started with Earl back in 2005 at a prior company. Prior to that, was in the boat business for about 5 years prior to that. So I've been doing this for about 25 years now, and it's wonderful. I wouldn't pick anything
Definitely
else
not
to
a
do.
bad place
Yeah.
to be working, that's for sure.
So Alan, on our left here, we've got one of our bass boat models. This is a 21-foot bass boat. This is the hull for it. And you can see the mold is painted to help us run our tape lines. Of course, when we apply the gel coat to the mold, there's a wax that prevents the gel coat from sticking to the mold, and these tape lines are what create the pinstripes on the boat. So a lot of people don't know and understand, but one of the first steps in boat building is to apply the gel coat to the mold. What's critically important are those tape lines being crisp and pristine and perfectly straight.
All done by hand.
That's all done by hand. That's a real craftsmanship
Yeah.
job here to make pristine,
art.
beautiful lines on the pinstripes. So this hull mold is ready to go into the gel coat booth and get ready for the gel coat and flake to be applied.
Okay. While we walk, Todd, why don't you get into your role here a little bit? Todd Falk, we've known each other for a little while now.
That's right.
So what's your day-to-day look like here?
Well, I'm Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Still do a lot on the manufacturing end as well, though. Been an avid boater my entire life. Started boating lakes and rivers here in Middle Tennessee back when I was 5, 6 years old with my parents. And then started boating a lot in South Florida, down the Keys, Ocean Reef Club. Spent a lot of time down there, a lot of time in the Bahamas. And then 7, 8 years ago, married my wife, who is one of Earl's daughters, his middle daughter. And I had, of course, a great family connection there, just with boating and fishing, hunting. And as Earl and Adam were getting this company off the ground, it was October of 19. Earl came to me and said, "Hey, it's time. We need you."
All right, let's go.
That's right. At that time, I've been a healthcare guy. I was running a healthcare company here in Nashville, Tennessee, and it felt like the right time. Something I'm
I
passionate
imagine
about.
there wasn't a lot of hesitation to make the jump over.
There was not. There was not. Just a little time to clean up stuff on the other end.
Yeah,
But,
of course.
so I started February of 20, which is about when I met you.
Yeah.
And I've been hard at it ever since.
Very good. Very good. Cool.
So Alan, we've made it back to the gel coat area. So after the mold's been taped up and ready to apply gel coat, we'll just kind of walk our way down through here, and each one of these booths that we're passing, they will have parts in them in the morning. We typically gel coat the parts first thing in the morning. The gel coaters start on an earlier shift so that when the laminators get here later in the morning, they have a part to start applying lamination to. So you see a few parts in here left to paint today, but most all of our parts have already been gel coated for today. And the parts you saw taped are ready to spray in the morning.
And these exhaust systems take all the fumes out.
They do.
It's nice. Doesn't smell like gel coat in here. We've been to a lot of facilities and everybody has their own way of doing it, but I appreciate a clean facility, and I mean, those fumes can be, I'm sure, detrimental to one's health after a long enough time. So having something like that in place for the guys working here, I think is amazing.
Yes,
you
sir.
know,
So-
not easy. I know it's expensive. It's
Very.
not something everyone can get into, but you can tell here we're in the middle of the gel coat area, and you really don't smell much. So
Now, and you can see all the duct work as you zoom around here. There's millions of dollars that we invested into the air handling equipment for the very reasons that you're talking about. We want our employees to have a safe environment to work in, a clean environment to work in, and as we built this this operation, we put the safety and the beauty of the building at forefront of the design that we did.
yeah, I imagine you have to have a pretty exact system in place to be able to get 1,000 boats out of here a year. So you're basically your guys are doing the same thing every day, every morning, gel coat. Everyone has a specific job, and they're just pumping through that every day.
You got
I
it.
assume.
And we'll take a look at some of that right now. So you mentioned our diversity here a few minutes ago. You're exactly right. We are very diverse. You've just seen a bass boat mold, hull mold right here. You're looking at the employees hand laying. All of our hulls are 100% hand laid. You can see no chopper guns anywhere in the process. The fiberglass is hand laid in the mold, the resin's applied, and then we come and expunge the air out with the rollers and squeegees. We squeegee all excess resin out of the part. We have a very consistent part that comes out each and every time. So this happens to be one of our deep V multi-species hulls that we're looking at here, and you can see the crew hand laying the glass in right now.
You guys ever dabbled with infusion or?
We do some infusion. You'll see that here
Okay.
shortly. We do not infuse our hulls. We believe in the hand-laid method.
Yep.
So we get a very consistent part. We can get all the excess resin out. Most importantly, we can see what's going on. We can see the air. We can see the trapped air.
Yeah.
We can expunge that air out of the parts so you don't have that burden that sometimes you get with infusion.
I agree with you. You got to know exactly what you're doing with infusion, and a lot of companies do out there. They do a great job with it, but if it's not, 150% dialed in, we've also seen negatives that have come from it. So, the hand laid, I've seen it, the tried and true method that's been around for a million years, and that's honestly what I prefer. Again, certain items that you can get away with, you know, hard tops and stuff like that that you want to reduce a little weight. I like that, but the hull, you know, a nice solid hull, obviously the most important thing on the boat in my opinion.
That's right.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Right next to this deep V multi-species hull, you see this is a bay boat hull. So again, the diverse model mix that we have. So this would be one of our HB models. I believe this is a 26. A double step hull. It's built the exact same way, all hand laid, just like you see the workers doing there. It's the exact same process on this model.
All the lifting strakes filled in.
That's right.
Sir.
Yeah, skin coat down, lids and strikes filled, and then I'll start with the bulk layup here next.
Very nice. Yeah, some of you may not have seen this process before, but all the lifting strakes that have those sharp angles and take quite a bit of pressure, you know, are filled in with this this paste. What is the paste?
It's a putty that we fill.
So they fill that in just to be able to, you know, strengthen it. Then they'll go over it with more fiberglass. So make sure that part of the boat, the hull itself that's getting the most amount of beating is, you know, the strongest part of the hull. So they reinforce it with that and then go over with fiberglass.
So between each layups, you have to rough up the surface to remove any wax buildup that occurs from the resin. So that's what this gentleman's doing here. He's sanding between the next layer of fiberglass before it goes down. We'll keep moving on up here. So Alan, if you slide up here, we'll kind of shoot backwards at the transom here. So the hull is built at this point. We're now installing our fiberglass stringer system, which we also build in-house here.
Okay.
We design all these parts on the freshwater side in-house. We've got an R&D engineering facility next door that we'll show you in a little bit. And we build all the molds next door for all of the parts. And we design the freshwater product here as well. The stringer system is built the same way. It's got its own mold. We pull the fiberglass stringer from its own mold. We trim it, and then it comes and gets adhered into the hull. One comment I want to make about our transom, that's a full width, beam to beam, Coosa composite material. There's no wood in the Caymas boat, nothing to rot. Earl has been using the Coosa material since the mid-90s. And since we've been using that, we've had incredible success with it, and not had any issues of any kind. So, had great luck with that material, and it makes a light boat, helps reduce weight out of the boat as well.
Yep.
This gentleman over here, another unique item to Caymas is anywhere there's going to be a penetration through the boat, we embed an aluminum backing plate so that we're actually drilling and tapping our fasteners into the aluminum plates, whether that's, and again, this is a fiberglass or a bass boat rather here, and you can see that's where the batteries go. So this is where the battery trays screw down, this is where the batteries lock down and the build to the boat, and you can see the aluminum plating that's in there that the screws will drill and tap into. That's from a 18-foot bass boat to a 44-foot catamaran. It's a similar build process on all the above.
Yeah, it's definitely cool, this stringer grid. We've seen, you know, several different options. You can have the foam that actually gets encased in fiberglass. Here, they have a mold created for that stringer grid, so it's pretty nice to be able to have that. It's actually hollow for the most part inside, but very rigid when you put all this together. So you have plenty of space to be able to run rigging or anything you need, plumbing through the center section of that, and then it's just, you know, an efficient way to build a boat.
All right, Alan, so pretty much seen the lamination process. So what we have here is, this is a bay boat deck that is ready to pull. And there's just a few things I want to go over before we pull it here. You know, we talked a lot about the aluminum plating and the backing that we do. I want to, now we can see it here firsthand. So you can see this is where a trolling motor would mount. This is where your hinges would mount for the anchor locker parts. You know, you can just look around the part and see as we kind of walk backwards here. We slide right through here. Here's your aluminum plating for where your hardtop frame is going to mount and secure to the floor. You can see we fully foam encapsulate any box that's going to hold liquid. So that is a fish box on this this model bay boat. You can see on the back here, we fully insulate and encapsulate our live wells in foam as well. You can see both port and starboard live wells fully foamed, so that helps keep the water cool and keep your bait and your catch alive. So wanted to show you a few of those while you can see it here firsthand. And we're gonna have Jeff and Chad see if they can pull this deck for us. So Jeff,
we're gonna
Chad,
get to
you guys
see that?
ready to
Obviously that aluminum is very important with the fiberglass alone, with the stress that these boats go through offshore, that'll hold it in place. Otherwise you'll strip a screw, something will rip right out of fiberglass if you don't put a backing like that. So they have it placed anywhere they need that extra support. Oh wow, that thing is quick.
there it is. Fell right out. So Alan, there's the berth of this deck, fresh off the mold. That mold will now recirculate. It'll get waxed and it'll get inspected. Make sure it's pristine, Class A finish. And once it's all squared away, it'll go right back into the gel coat booth to get painted again and build another deck off of it.
So how does the line work here? That's the deck for which model?
This is for a bay boat. So it'll stay right there. It'll get inspected. It'll get waxed. It'll get
Prep for the next one?
prep for the next one, and then it'll just make the lap that we just walked through.
Oh, okay. It
And
kind of
it'll
goes
just
through
make
the circle
turn
here.
right again. It's just a
Gotcha.
circular
This circular
rotation.
area is that line.
You got it.
Okay.
And then this part, this actual deck part, will make its way forward to what we call the grinding room, and where it'll get its flanges trimmed off, its box openings cut open, etc. And then it'll make its way into the assembly plant, which we'll see in just a few minutes here.
Nice to be able to see this stuff in real time, and it's nice to have all this set up the way that you guys have it. You know, push of a button and it goes.
Well, hopefully we'll see a hull in just a minute here. So we're going to work our way right there. So Alan, you just saw the bay boat deck get pulled. We're fortunate today. We've got one of our 30-foot catamaran hulls that is ready to pull. So we've got it right here. We got George and Tony and Levi. They're going to see if we can't watch a 30 cat hull get pulled as well here.
All right, here we go. So this is a 30-foot catamaran getting pulled from the hull mold. Getting to see this as it happens, always cool. Look at that thing, beautiful. Always like to see the fiberglass work right when it pops off. You know, the less finishing you need to do, the better, and this thing looks mighty fine right out of the mold. Is there any, are you guys doing fiberglass? Is there any coring on the hull bottoms on any of your boats?
Any coring?
Foam?
Yeah. No, we core all of the catamarans get cored and our 40-footer gets cored.
Okay,
So-
bottom and whole sides?
The bottoms and the sides. Yep, you got it. Yeah, we core the 40 and all catamarans are cored. The smaller boats, the bass boats, the walleye boats, they're all fiberglass, no core.
Okay. What's the reasoning for that?
Reduce
Doing it in
weight.
some boats and
Take
lower
weight.
it, no
Yeah. So once you get to a certain size and you need the boats to be lighter and put them on a diet, then you
Yeah.
do that by putting the core in the structure.
Gotcha.
So Alan, on the larger saltwater boats, unlike what you just saw in the freshwater, these are more of what we call station build. So they kind of stay where they are. They get gel coated there, they get laminated there, they get everything you just saw that rotated in a circular fashion on the freshwater and bay boat side. It's a little bit different. Build processes are pretty much the same, but they just get done in one spot. So behind you here, you can see the liner for a 34 catamaran, and it's being laminated now. This part will stay here on this mold until it's ready to pull from the mold. It won't move in a circular fashion like you saw on the smaller boats.
Gotcha. So where's that 30 going to go from here?
The 30 will go into the trim booth that you can barely see the curtains on up there.
Okay.
It'll get its flange cut off, and then it'll move into the assembly plant to where we start the assembly process.
Gotcha. Does that have stringers and bulkheads? put
It's
into-
complete.
Yeah.
Stringer,
Complete.
yeah, we
do all that in the mold.
Yeah. Fuel tank or no?
not fuel tank, just stringer and foam. Any structure is
Right.
put in before the part is pulled out of the mold.
Right. And for those of you at home, obviously the more you can do inside that mold will keep it intact and in place when you pull it. So good. So the 34, where's the 34? If the liner's happening here, where's the
hole will be on the other
hole
side
on the
of
other
this
side.
wall. We'll walk right
Yep.
up there and
Go
see.
check that out, see it in process.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Right here, Alan, we can. So now you can get a good view
Oh,
of.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you got the stringers in.
These are the finished boxes in there already?
No, we just utilize a finished stringer in the catamaran. So
Oh.
that's actually a fiberglass stringer behind the fuel tanks, and forward of the fuel tanks are the bulkheads themselves. So we're a little unique in that in the cat build that we do install a fully finished stringer in the stern.
Very interesting.
And of course, that's all taped up and protected so that
Yeah.
through the lamination process it doesn't get dirty.
Gotcha.
But it gives us a nice clean bilge, good workspace.
Yeah. No, it's smart.
The other thing we do, we spend a lot of time on mold maintenance. So we've got an entire team of people that are maintaining our molds, inspecting the parts,
Yeah.
addressing anything as soon as it comes up, waxing them regularly, so the parts come out looking really good every time.
Yeah.
As you know,
One thing I noticed when it popped out of here, it looked like
Yeah,
it
we-
really doesn't need.
put a lot of time and resource into that.
Boats are only as good as your molds.
That's right.
So
That's right. It pays off in the long run.
100%.
End up with a better product when you don't have to work on as much on the
Okay.
post-finish side.
what are the strips that I'm seeing here on both sides over the?
That is where we bond the liner in. So once this boat goes into pre-assembly, we'll of course prep both parts, drop the liner in, and that's where we run our methacrylate down the sides
Oh, okay.
to bond it. So the entire liner is bonded all the way down the side of the boat and across the tunnel, across every bulkhead, and across the stringer.
Gotcha. Is this a two-piece?
This is a three-piece boat.
This is a three-piece boat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all our cats are three-piece.
Gotcha. Very nice. What's the beam on this? The 30? 10.8?
This one's 10.8. The 34 is 10.10.
Not sure how I remembered that, but I remembered it.
Good memory.
Good memory.
That's the mold for the 44 right there.
Yeah, it's
And right next to a 34, so you can
beautiful. Well, you can see the quality of the mold just pulling that part out, and obviously they're going to wax it, clean it. There's a process before you put, that next boat in there, but the more you take care of your molds, the better they're going to take care of the boat manufacturer. So you can see these things are pristine, and it shows with the boat that they just popped out of that mold too. This thing is crazy. When they put them on the side, it's always impressive to see what
know.
these look like.
we
It is massive.
they moved that scaffold out, but we've actually got a scaffold rack system. We laminated on the side like that we put over the side of the hull so guys can work up the side and flip it
Right.
over and flip the whole structure. But yeah, they're big parts.
Yep.
A lot
You
of
can see they
glass.
throw plastic over it just so you don't get the dust particles, and you protect it. And makes the prep process a little bit easier when you go to throw that next boat in. How many of these cats are you doing a year right now? More or less, you know?
We're probably in the 35, 40.
Yeah, we'll do one a week.
Yeah.
And we'll be on
Nice.
between all three models.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Alan, you were asking about core earlier. So there's the core kit that's about ready to go into this hull here. So this gentleman's prepping the core kit, getting it ready. You can see the number on it that's engraved in the core. There's a diagram that tells them where to put the core as they go to apply it in. So we've got a 3-axis router
That's what I
that
was
we'll
gonna
look at here in just a moment. We cut all of our core kits on the 3-axis router, and then they all get applied in. It's like a beautiful
Yeah.
puzzle once it's
Yeah.
all complete and done. So,
Let's see the 45, all the edges there.
yes, sir.
So-
45 them to make the laminate layover very nice.
Eliminate the air voids.
Get rid of the air pockets. You got it.
Yep.
Exactly.
It's definitely nice when you can get a 3-axis machine to cut that stuff. I mean, everything's perfect. Doing it by hand, you always get the wavy lines, and it's just something, I mean, most people don't ever see that, but it's nice to know that it's down there in my
Right.
mind.
All right, Alan. So you asked about infusion earlier. So
Okay.
we had to make a little bit of a loop to get back here, but here is our light RTM operation. This is an infusion process. We do all of our lids, a lot of our tubs, up to a hard top are what we are today currently infusing. So you can see the molds here. They're 2-part molds. The process of gel coating and waxing and taping is the same as what you saw in the open mold environment. You can see the molds taped off in the paint booth here. Those will be ready for gel coat to be applied in the morning. Once the gel coat's applied, those the molds will roll out here. They'll get the fiberglass that you can see on these racks. They'll get the fiberglass kits cut in. We cut these on our 3-axis router that you'll see momentarily here. And after the resin's been applied, the finished lid is, you get a part that comes out, and there's your lid. There's your A side that's finished with the non-skid, and there's your B side that's got the finished gel coat on it.
Yep.
We do all of our lids, freshwater and saltwater, are all done right here in this room. So
Quite a few lids on that.
I imagine.
So these are all the vacuum lines that apply the pressure to keep the two molds together, and then that cart you see at the end, that's the resin infusion pump where the resin's infused in to the mold. So.
Wow.
We also store our own resin in bulk, so we have 2 bulk resin tanks right outside that door.
Oh yeah.
40,000 pounds each
Oh
of
my
resin.
Lord.
We have our own tractor trailer that we go pick up resin and pump it in ourselves.
You must go through quite a bit of that.
Oh, we do.
A lot of resin. A lot of resin used. These are some lids that have come out. And Alan, we've mentioned a time or two about our CNC machines. So here's 2 of them. These are, they pretty much run all day. They're taking a break right now, getting loaded with new material, but they pretty much run constantly, nonstop. And anything plastic, rubber, CUSA, the coring material, all of those items are what we're cutting on these 3-axis machines. So.
Yes. Very nice to be able to do it in-house. I'm sure the quantity that you guys are doing, it's well worth the investment.
Oh, yeah.
So, Alan, at this point, we have manufactured the fiberglass. So you've seen the lamination side of the operation here. At this point, the fiberglass has been made. We've pulled the parts out of their molds. They've now made it to what you've heard us refer to as the trim booth or the grinding room. That's what you see behind us here. There's 2 rooms. It's essentially a big, gigantic dust collecting system. So as you notice, as you've been coming through the plant, it's very clean. It's not a dusty environment. That's due to these booths that are here. So we invested a lot of money. We suspended these booths from the ceiling so that there's no pillars or no beams in way of the parts coming in and out of the booth. So you could take a 44 cat and bring it into this booth sideways if you wanted to, which we have to do as we do bring it in here. So that's been very beneficial, and it hasn't bottlenecked us as you see in some other boat plants you've probably been to.
Smart design, be able to keep all the mess contained in there. It's true, you don't even feel the dust in the air. Sometimes you go into a facility and I wear contact lenses and start getting sandy.
Right.
Not because you guys are standing right next to me, but it smells clean, feels clean. My shoes are still intact, so all good things.
One area here that we're very proud of, this is what we call our post-finishing area. As you have 2 molds that come together and you have an inner mold and an outer mold, or an upper and a lower, you're always going to have a cut seam that occurs. When you have that cut seam, you can trim it. You can put a piece of trim on that will likely fall off over time and won't put up with the abuse and the environment that our customers put these boats through. So one thing we do at Caymas here is in almost every instance where there's 2 molds that come together, we come in and post-finish that edge. So we fiberglass that area, and then we re-gel coat that area and bring it to a Class A finish. So we'll show you some examples of that. We'll go up here to this end here.
That's definitely something I appreciate. I mean, I'm like the little details are something that stick out to me. I'm the guy that when a painting is 1/8 of an inch off to one side, I got to straighten it out. So like that stuff jumps out at me, and getting an edge and just going the quick, easy route and throwing a trim on it for me is like, especially some of these boats for what they're worth and what the clients are paying for it. This is what I would expect. So it's good to see that you guys are definitely doing it.
So you can see the lower mold or the lower part and the upper part, they've come together. Here's the cut seam. This is that edge that we're talking about being post-finished. So you can see it's in process of being glassed and getting ready, prep for the gel coat. And as you look behind us here where we just were, this is one that's wrapping up. And you can see this is what the finished product, he just sprayed it so it'll be wet, but this is what the finished product will look like after he's done with this. So it'll look like it came out of the mold like this.
Just look like one solid piece.
Yep, you got it. So hard tops, console door openings, that's most of what you see going on in here. Obviously on the line, anywhere there's a dive door, anywhere there's a bow thruster, all these areas require this post-finish work. Right. These guys and women that work in here, they're artists. Yeah. They're not just workers that are putting paint down, and it's a true craftsman skill here to get everything to blend just right and make it look like you said that it's one solid.
Yeah, like I said, it's an art form. Some of this stuff is tough to teach. You kind of have to have that meticulous eye and want to be able to finish a piece of that quality to be able to achieve it. So I definitely appreciate what some of these guys and girls can do, because I don't know if I'd be capable of doing it, but very impressive to see.
Got an amazing team here. Caymas.
Yeah.
All right, Alan. So as we've discussed here, the fiberglass parts are manufactured. Now they're in the assembly operation. We refer to this area here as our pre-assembly operation. From here to the front door, there's about 16 to 18 different stages that the boats go through, and everything's built to an order. We don't build any stock boats, so everything that you see in this building and that you've seen already has been ordered, and it's ordered to a specific content package that the boat will be built with. So you can see all those boxes in front of us straight ahead, way high. That's what we call our stock room, our warehouse. That's where the parts are assembled into kits. Those kits are then delivered out here to the line. It's specific to a hull. It's specific to a job number. And in this area here is when we really start that assembly process. So you can start to see the plumbing's going in, the through hole fittings are going in, power steering pumps, and just the boat is beginning to get assembled. So you can see all the foam flotation that's been applied that we talked about earlier. We dress up any areas that are going to be visible when you open hatches and you open compartments. If you're going to see anything that's visible, then we dress those areas up and apply gel coat to them to give it a finished feature.
What is this white material here?
That is foam that's been gel coated.
Oh, it's been gel coated.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So as we'll just ease forward here, you'll look at the next stage in the process. Every step we take, you'll see more and more of a boat coming to life here. The same holds true on the decks. You can see the partner deck on the other side of the hull here. You can see the plumbing lines going in, just all the parts and pieces of the boat going together. And yep, that deck goes to this hull. You got it?
Yep. Okay. Is this stringer system, is this like a finished cap, or is this the actual stringer system that we saw?
So you saw the stringer getting built on a separate mold back there. It is on the bay and saltwater boats. They are finished Class A gel-coated stringers, and they, as you can see here, it is built as a separate part. It's pulled just as we talked back there. It's trimmed, and then we bond and glass in our stringers. So we don't just glass them in, we don't just bond them in, but we bond them in with a methacrylate, and then we also apply fiberglass to the perimeter of the stringer as well.
Okay, very nice.
So if we step one station forward here, you'll get a really good idea of what this all looks like. So this is one of our 26 HBs, one of our hybrid models that we build. And here you can see it's been fully pre-rigged. Every part that could possibly be put in the hull, could possibly be installed on the deck, has been installed. It's been completed. It's been through its QC process. It's been checked and validated, and we're at the point to where we will bond this deck to this hull and stringer. So that is the next step that will occur here. And when we do that, it becomes a boat. So this is the first time in the process that we've captured a boat.
Yeah.
Once this deck is set down, we bond that in with this material you see behind us here. It's called B39, and it's a two-part putty that when it cures, it's permanent.
Yeah.
And so this deck has become part of this hull and stringer once the B39 has fully cured, and you won't ever separate the deck and hull apart.
Really? That's a spray application? You basically.
No, it's a putty.
Oh, it's a
Actual
putty.
It's
An
a
actual
paste
putty?
that we squirt all across the transom,
On the
of course,
stringers,
down the stringer.
bulkheads.
That's right. Any place where the parts touch, that B39 gets applied.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah, it's always cool to see it like this and being able to work on the two pieces separately and see it come together as one. Always very interesting. So much that goes into these things and organizing, all the rigging, all the wiring, the plumbing, balancing the weight. Obviously, the naval architect has a lot to do with that, but very cool to see it all, happen in front of you. All right, so Adam, how long does it take approximately for a boat to make it through this line?
So
The assembly side of things.
yeah, so depends on the model.
Or maybe let's go from the beginning, lamination, and then assembly separately.
So it depends on the model. A small 18-foot bass boat. That from the time that mold is waxed and gel coated and everything we've seen until it's got an engine hanging on it and being set on a trailer, you're looking at about effective time. You're looking at about 12 days to turn that boat.
Okay.
A hybrid like this, it's going to take around 6 weeks to make it through the production cycle. And, of course, on the larger boats, you're going to be looking at, a couple of months,
Sure.
2.5 months on like a 44 cat, for example, to get those out. That's why you see WIP in the building, work in process. So the work in process is what allows our labor force to work on multiple products at a time and keep the line moving and create the efficiencies that the manufacturing process allows for. So, but to go through this process of pre-assembly from the time it came in this building till we pinned the deck on the hull, you're looking at about 3 days.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yep. And about 4 days in the mold to get it laminated.
Yeah. Well, nice.
Yeah. In addition to bonding the deck and hull together, we also attach with fasteners throughout the perimeter of the boat. So you can see we call this the pinning flange, the pinning joint, and you can see about every 4 to 6 inches there's an epoxy coated screw that goes in through the deck flange, through the hull flange, and that epoxy coated screw, you can see some laying on the swim platform there. As that screw turns into the fiberglass, that epoxy is catalyzed and then hardened. So you won't have these screws backing out, as you will see you've probably experienced that yourself on some boats you've had in your time. This helps to prevent that from happening. So not only have we bonded with the putty, we've fastened with these number 10 fasteners here. Then we also come in and apply the rub rail to it, which then gets more of the epoxy coated screws on it. So by the time you got the rub rail on a Caymas boat, you end up with an epoxy coated screw about every 2 to 3 inches around the perimeter of the boat. And you've got your chemical bond with the B39. So it is truly a one part. When we say uni construction, one part boat, that's what we're referring to. And as you can see here, that's truly what it ends up being.
Yep. That should do the job, that's for sure. Very interesting. So that basically takes the place of, you don't have to through bolt with the epoxy screw. It's kind of a different way of doing it.
That's exactly right. Now, where we have access to through bolt, we still do through bolt.
Okay.
So if it's one of our 3-part boats, so if it's one of our 3-part boats like a catamaran, and it's got a ring deck on it, and we can access like what you see to our left here, where we can get under that ring deck and we have access to reach in and put a nut on, then we will absolutely through bolt. But where you don't have access to through bolt from a deck being in the way, then that's where we use the process I just described.
Understood. Is this a 30? 34?
This is a 34.
34? Yeah, it looks huge.
This is a 34 ring deck, and then this is the hull right here for the 34. This is obviously our catamaran.
And what's the beam on the 34?
10 foot 10.
10 foot 10?
Obviously, the catamarans offer quite a bit more interior square footage. You might not know this, but how much space do you have, like, from the inside of the cap to cap? Like, how much square footage do you have on this? Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, I can do some quick math.
Yeah,
Let's
we can
see,
do some
11
math.
foot.
Yeah,
Let's
rough, rough idea.
11 foot wide and 34 foot long. What is that? 375 square feet, maybe? 300 plus square
It's
feet.
a lot of boat.
Yeah.
Obviously 34 feet, but this looks like 40 footer. Just
Right.
looking at it
I was
here.
just going to say, there's as much fishing space on this boat as there
Yeah.
is on a 40 monohull.
Yep. Again, you guys doing both monohulls and catamarans. You got
Right.
both ends of that spectrum.
That's
so
right.
always impressive to see it here. You see the boat, and obviously it looks big, but when you see it in this setup, it just looks absolutely massive. And you
Right.
see the actual hull mold itself sitting sideways. Again, it looks like a 50-footer looking at it from the side. But very nice. Okay.
And you'll see, Alan, right here, just like you saw in the smaller hybrid segment, this is a pre-assembled catamaran that is exactly the same as what you saw, as much as we can possibly do before we pin the liner or the deck is what's going on here. And on the upper end of the plant, you'll see the freshwater segment, and that process is the same as well. So we'll step over there and let you take a look at kind of all three segments that we have going on here.
Okay. Is that foam take the place of any sort of foam coring for the fish boxes?
Correct. So our foam is a two-part foam, and it's applied back in the lamination building, and it's water closed cell foam. It doesn't hold water, doesn't retain water. Two-part foam, and it's about 2 inches thick of foam that you
Really?
can see on the
Oh, wow.
fish boxes.
Very nice.
34's got massive fish boxes.
Yeah, look at how deep those things are.
Really gives you an idea of the relative size of them. It's
Look
tough
at
to
the
tell
size
when
of
they're
this
in the
box
boat.
here.
But I think that's 180 gallon.
Oh, wow. Yeah, obviously, one of the benefits of the catamaran has many benefits, but the amount of in-deck space that you
yeah.
have is just incredible.
Unbelievable.
So cool to see it outside of the full hull here. Really gives you a good perspective of how big that thing really is. So
This will give you a good view looking forward of the freshwater line. You can see up until this point the process is identical. You can see right behind us here the pre-rigging of the deck and hull taking place. This is one of our deep V multi-species boats, and right behind Todd there is one of our fiberglass bass boats that we have. So process is identical. No major difference between how any of the boats are assembled and put together.
when are you going to build a 34 catamaran in this finish?
As soon as somebody requests.
That's right.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. That's
You
right.
know, Ocho Cinco.
Lots of different colors on the bass side. A lot of flake.
It's funny, they like flashy boats, huh?
They do. They do. But we still do a lot of gel coat, a lot of solid white boats. You can see there's
I like that. The gray with
quite
the
a
green.
few
That's
up
pretty
here.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of unique color combinations through here.
cool. And the freshwater boats are under the Caymas brand.
They are.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yep. All labeled as Caymas, all branded as Caymas.
And this started at the same time, the freshwater and the saltwater.
We did.
For some reason I thought the freshwater came first.
They
Then the
were-
saltwater was something else you guys rolled into after
The
the
company originally started to be a saltwater company, but Earl had such a following in the freshwater world and just saw
Made
an
sense.
opportunity to get back in the bass market, and so ended up launching them basically at the same time.
Wow. It's impressive to do well in one or the other is tough. To do well in both combined is impressive. So
We're fortunate that Earl's got a long legacy
Yeah.
in the industry and particularly in the bass boat world. Even
Yeah.
though he grew up saltwater fishing, and then through his work at Hydro Sport, started getting involved in the bass boat side, and then really perfected the bass boat hull and made the bass boat what it is today.
yeah, it really is amazing to me that you guys have been able to do so much in such a short time. This place looks like it's been here for 20 years, 30 years. The fact that it's been what, 7? It's
5.5 years.
5?
5.5 years.
5.5 years.
Yeah.
We went to our first boat show in June of 2019, and that was at the Houston Boat Show, and we debuted our HB, our 26 and 28 HB at that show.
Well, yeah, center consoles only has been around since August 2018. So all this tells me is that we got to get our shit together.
I think you guys are doing
Alan,
great.
you guys are doing an amazing
I'm
job,
just
bud.
kidding. No.
Got it figured out.
No, this is inspiring. Anything can be done if you put your mind to it. That's for sure. This is
right.
absolutely amazing that this has been. I know you guys hadn't been around long, but 5.5 years seems ridiculous.
Well, and we've talked a lot about it, but we've got an incredible team.
Sure,
So
yeah.
it's all these people you see that we're walking past that have helped make that happen. We've got a phenomenal dealer network, as Todd mentioned, the relationships in the industry that Earl's nurtured and created over the last 50 years. Has that's why we are where we are today. So
Impressive.
And we're all very passionate about it. I mean, we all love to fish, whether it's freshwater or saltwater. Everybody in the office is involved in the outdoors in some function. So when you love it, it's very easy to really get into it and to want to do things right and make a better boat every single day.
Yeah, it's a job, but not really.
That's
at
right.
the same time, you enjoy
That's
it.
right.
Same thing with us. We spend a lot of hours doing this, and it's just because we enjoy it. So it doesn't feel like a job, although obviously it is. But I mean, just to be able to build this and organize it and create the lines and the system to be able to put out this many boats, it almost seems like it would take a few years to do that on its own. So this is amazing. So every time I go back and think about it, I'm like, how in God's name did you guys do this? Incredible.
Well, thank you.
So I'm sure this is only the beginning.
That's right. Still a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Brooks, how we coming?
Hey, Adam, how you doing, sir?
Very good. Brooks is
How you doing?
one of our post finishers here that makes. We were talking about the artistry earlier. So Brooks is one of these artists here that makes, and then Johnny over here as well. They work on our dive door openings, the post finishing, the dive door openings, the bow thruster openings. They're who bring these to completion.
Yep. And things like dive doors are always challenging.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're
a lot of labor.
We've
very
heard of the
meticulous.
struggles from every company to get that perfected. So know what kind of effort that takes.
That is the 291 that you guys saw at Lauderdale. That's our Miami showboat. So we're finishing that one up here over the next couple days.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice blue color.
Yeah. Decided to roll out a little different color this year. So boat turned out nice. It's been very popular. Got a lot of good traction.
How's the reception been to it? I really liked that when we walked it at the last show.
It's been great. Customers are loving it. Dealers are loving it. It's a very a different hybrid, but one that people are looking for. There's a guy that wants to be offshore more than inshore, but still have.
I think you had told me it was like the offshore hybrid.
That's right.
I like that idea and having a little more depth, a little more freeboard.
Yep.
Still having the versatility of the hybrid, but maybe slightly a bit more capability.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I really liked it when I saw it. We've talked about it quite a bit since then.
So right here,
We're going swimming?
Alan, we go swimming from time to time
Yeah.
and get hot in the
Put the
summer.
margarita machine on the
yeah,
corner?
That's
exactly. So this is our test tank. We've got one on the saltwater side, one across the way on the freshwater side. Every bay boat and every walleye and every bass boat we build goes through a complete systems check for plumbing, electrical, leaks. Everything is checked in one of these two test tanks before it's shipped. All of our walleye, bay, and saltwater boats go to the river for a complete actual on the water sea trial before they ship. And Todd and I take every offshore boat to the river before they ship. So it is.
You guys are actually doing the
Absolutely.
QC?
We do.
Every single.
Oh, look at that.
We
Every
do
single offshore boat. Adam and I
Sacrifice yourselves
ourselves.
and.
We were out the other morning. It was 24 degrees.
Oh, so okay.
So
Right.
it was a
Rain,
sacrifice. It was pretty.
It's a good
damn
and bad
cold.
days, but
Yeah.
never a bad day to be out on the water.
That's right.
That's right.
But it's cool that you guys actually do that.
Yeah, I mean it's a great way to keep in touch with what's going on the floor, but also again back to the passion side. We know how we want things set up and what's right.
The only way to improve is to get more hours on the boats and
You got it.
always get new ideas when
That's
you're out
right.
there.
Yeah, come up with some new
So-
little way of tweaking something and.
My goodness.
So, Alan, when you met with Earl, did he talk to you about a 49-year employee?
He did.
I'd like to introduce you to that.
All right, let's do that.
Let's step right over here.
Was this one being built for our boat club? Because the color scheme makes,
It does look like someone I know. That's actually going to Miami as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's right,
kind of-
right down our wheelhouse right
That's
there.
right.
So
Neat
Alan,
decal.
over here, we got Mr. Jimmy Hayes and Travis Donaldson here. They've been building boats for many decades. Jimmy, how long you been doing it?
Early 60s. All right.
So Jimmy runs the saltwater line. He obviously, this is our new 44 Cat that you see us here at,
Yeah.
and we're putting the parts and pieces together. These are fresh arrived from vendor. Jimmy, you just picked these up today, so they're new arrivals. Now we've got to go install them in the boat. So Jimmy takes the lead on making all this happen and come together, and obviously his years of wisdom and
Oh, yeah.
experience are second to none.
I can only imagine the stories he can tell.
Oh, he's got
Probably
it.
get him
For
a
sure.
beer or two, and he can get him going for a while. It'd be interesting. Oh, okay. You don't want to get out of control. I understand.
And then the other gentleman there in the camo hat is Johnny Leto. You may have seen him at some of the shows.
How you doing, Alan? Nice to
Johnny
meet you.
runs
Got
everything
Eric,
up
Jason.
front here. So all the
Alright, cool.
assembly after the boat gets pinned, Johnny is responsible for and does a hell of a job.
Very nice. Nice to meet you guys. Yeah. As long as you're learning, that's
right.
a good thing.
That's right. So Alan, at this point, boats are, after we've sea troweled them, they come back from the river. And the river, by the way, you may not know the geography here. The river's about 300 yards just on the other side of the highway. So
Okay.
very convenient to it, very simple to hook up to a boat, run it across the street, drop it in the water, and run it for its sea trowel. So after that's
Nice.
done, it comes back. It gets any items that were found on the sea trowel addressed, and then shrink wrap, set on the trailer, and out to the dealer it goes.
Very nice. You guys got to talk anything about the elephant in the room over here that we're just
We
nonchalantly walking by with nobody talking about?
yeah.
It's like, look at this thing.
yeah, we can talk a little bit about it.
I don't know if you want to. I mean, we're here. Might as well.
That's right. So that's our new 44 CT. It'll be debuting at Miami here in a week and a half. 44 feet, 12-foot beam. This one's running quad 400 V10s. Double row seating, mezzanine. Got a Frigorigid built-in cooler with a compressor on the mezz. Put in chipped ice maker, chill plates.
Fully loaded.
Fully loaded. Release
1,000
seats.
gallons of fuel,
Okay.
100 gallons of fresh water. We'll be able to supply plenty of water to the ice maker to
Yep.
make ice while underway. Plenty of range. We've had her on the water one time here about a week ago, and we're very impressed with the performance numbers that we saw. It's outstanding. Obviously, we want to continue to play with props and
Sure.
the
Dial it
different
in.
testing scenarios that we do here at Caymas, but initial results were outstanding. Very impressive.
Are there any differences on the bottom design compared to the 34, 30?
Everything just grew in relative ratio, right? So we worked with our naval architecture firm, Marine Concepts, who helped design the catamarans for Caymas, and
Yeah.
we integrated a couple of really unique features to the Caymas line. We've got what we refer to as a sneeze deflector that's built into the hull design, and that is outstanding. It works incredibly well. One of
Yep.
the challenges with catamarans and just the market has been you get the sneeze or the burp that occurs out of the bow, and we have virtually eliminated that with our catamaran
Yeah.
design, and that sneeze deflector has done its job. So that's one really amazing feature that Caymas did a great job with the naval architecture firm to design. The other, and you're very familiar, in the catamarans, you get an outboard lean and a turn, and we sought after in the design process to eliminate that outboard lean and have a natural inboard lean.
How do you go like after something like that? Is it like angle of chines?
We can't give that secret sauce, Alan.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Off
secret
camera.
sauce,
I'll do it
so
off
we
camera.
can't give it all up.
The idea with these videos is to give you guys a bit of perspective what it takes to build one of these. You know, they're not cheap. You know, it's a luxury item, but there is a lot that goes into this thing. You can see all the wiring, all the batteries, everything underneath the deck, fiberglass finish work. I mean, it's a serious process. So definitely wanted to show you this point where they have it, and it's going to go straight to the Miami Boat Show, and hopefully we can jump on it there and finish up with the finished product. And no step up here, you guys were able to...
No step, yeah. We'll keep flat deck. We've got drop-in bow seating. It can be added if someone wants that with the release ladder backs on the backrest.
So pop that cushion open right there if you don't mind. I want you to see down in there, this is something we spent a long time working on. These catamarans make long runs, and these chase lounge areas, coffin boxes get used for huge, massive fish storage. So if you look down in there, you can see how we ran the tub underneath this, and this is actually a pitch well.
Either cooler or a pitch well.
Okay.
You can plumb to a live well, you can put some live bait up there if you're fishing from the bow. If you're not live baiting, you can put it as a cooler. And then if you look at the back side, you can see where it notches the other way. So diagonally, you can run 78 inches here. So you can put,
big wahoo, big tuna.
Big wahoo, big tuna. A lot of guys in the Northern Gulf going out catching big yellowfin tuna. We designed this chase lounge coffin box area to support that catch. And of course, underneath your feet and underneath Jason's feet back there as well are 4 enormous fish boxes in for us.
Oh, okay.
Ample storage for your catch.
We were just recently blessed with the opportunity to go to Venice, Louisiana, and fish a little bit. We got one day and got 90-pound wahoo and a couple 120, 140 class yellowfin, and that's. I mean, you need every bit of a box like this, and being able to sneak, a fish underneath there and make use of the extra linear footage is important if you're doing that sort of thing day in and day out. So, and that's what this big boat is for. Being able to go offshore and go after some of those, prize fish. Sure. You're not, throwing yellowtail in there. You're
that's right. You're going after the big ones.
You're going after the big ones, which the older I get, the more I like that approach. We don't go out as much, so when we go, try to make it worthwhile.
That's right. Want to get into the big ones.
Yeah, the amount of storage I imagine you have down the sponson has got to be incredible. Yep. So.
Oh, it's huge.
How many boxes do you have down the port side?
3. There's 3 fish boxes.
My God, the thing looks like it's a mile down.
Access that has a drop-in tub for storage as well.
Yeah. And a boat like this too, with this type of length, I mean, the transom looks like it's a mile away from here. Having a little well to be able to transfer some baits, and if you're running and gunning, having it up here, not having to run back,
right.
Every time you gotta, put a fresh bait on. Those little things make a difference. The vertical rod storage with that 15 or 30 degree angle you got there is a beautiful little touch. You guys have thought it through. Obviously, you guys, you say you've done a lot of fishing. It's nice to be able to see some of those details that come from builders with experience, So we appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate that you notice it.
Learning a thing or two.
Yeah.
Now that you've seen the process of bringing all the Caymas boats, especially this 44, right to this point, let's go ahead and show you the 44 and the finished product at the Miami International Boat Show. So fast forward about a week, and here we are actually standing in the Miami International Boat Show, one of the first to see the finished product here of the 44 Caymas in the convention center. So if you just look around, look how perfect this thing came out, and it's absolutely amazing how much work they had to do to get it to this point, and on top of that, they had to ship it down to Miami from Tennessee. Now I want to start at the bow and just show you a couple of the details. First thing you notice that there's no step here at the bow. We have a little cooler, or actually a pitch well, up here, which I think I mentioned over at the facility. Huge lounger with a ton of cooler or storage capability underneath it for those big fish. Beautiful finishes, release marine teak accents throughout this thing. Pop this open, you can take a look at this. This will magnetize right there. You can have a head and a ton of storage. Obviously you have the tunnel underneath, but it looks like they added a bit of storage there as well, which you don't see on many builders. Release marine chairs, 2 rows. You got to step up to be able to see over this console, triple Garmin MFDs, and the whole command center is just easy to access, really well laid out, and beautiful overall. You got plenty of tackle storage for your Plano boxes, your fluorocarbons, pliers, knives, things of that nature. Then boxes underneath. This is a 12-foot beam, holds 1,000 gallons of fuel, 100 gallons of fresh water. rear-facing mezzanine seat with dual-door frigid rigid cooler underneath that'll hold ice for a week. And you also will have the option to do kind of a summer kitchen setup here. Check out the piping that they have on this thing. Really heavy duty. Garmin MFDs up top, surrounded by JL Audio sound. Really beautifully done. Two 60-gallon live wells here at the transom, and finish it off with quad Mercury Marine V10 400s. So now that you saw the finished product, we're gonna head back over to Tennessee to the factory to finish that thing off. All right, so now we're on the freshwater side again?
Back to the freshwater side, Alan. We zigzag our way all the way up to the front. You can see we've made it to our rigging area. This is where we hang the outboard motors on the boat. And after the boat's made it through the test tank, made it through its process as it gets the engine hung. And then as we look behind us here, you'll see where it goes through final detail, buff, wax, clean, and then it'll get shrink wrapped and put on a trailer. And behind you, just off to your left, is pretty unique boat that we're excited for. I believe we're one of, if not the first in the industry to remove carpet from a bass boat entirely with fiberglass lids. So this is called our XS series of bass boats. As you can see, it's all the foam material, foam flooring on the deck. This particular build we put on an aluminum trailer, which this could go to saltwater. So there's no reason that this boat couldn't be launched in your hometown in Miami and spend a day in saltwater and come back, spray it off just like you would one of your boats, and you're perfectly fine. So very versatile boat, very unique. We're selling a lot of these with this new option of no carpet in the deck. So that's becoming more and more popular every day.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I know we spoke about it off camera a little bit, but never really understood the carpeting. I haven't done a ton of bass fishing like at that level. A 14-foot aluminum skiff was my chariot that got me around with a good friend of mine, Riggy. But being able to have something, especially down in South Florida, where a lot of people do both. Yeah. So to have the versatility of having, a freshwater boat and a saltwater boat, they're going to do both well in one package. I think you hit the nail on the head for a lot of people, in several areas, not just South Florida. But this thing is sharp. It's got the glitz, the glam, the sparkles, and the decking material. So very cool. How fast is something like this? This has got what, a 150 on it? 200?
250.
250.
Yeah, it's 21 with the 250. It'll run in the low 70s depending on load. So they're pretty quick, pretty nimble.
It's fast enough.
Fun to drive.
It's got to feel like 110 and something like this.
Oh, yeah.
So beautiful.
But a great rough water ride. That's what our bass boats are known for.
Oh, yeah?
It's probably having the best rough water ride in the industry.
Oh, okay.
So even you get it, yes, they'll go fast in calm water, but when it gets rough, wind picks up, you still get across the lake really comfortably. Really
and
solid
the bay?
boat. And the bay. Yeah, that's right.
This is a cool setup with the Garmin trolling motor and the 12-inch MFD right here.
That's right. And we'll get
Sharp
two
looking.
12s at the dash as well. So these
Oh,
boats
really?
come pretty well rigged out.
Very nice. Cool.
Yeah, and then last but not least, we'll pop this door open and show you where they go next. Got a little rainy day today, but after the boats are shrink wrapped, they look right around to your right there, and you'll see the what we call our loading bay. That's where the boats come to get loaded on the semi-trailers and then shipped to the dealers. As you can see, we don't have any inventory out here, as we mentioned before. Everything we build, we don't build stock. Everything we build is an ordered boat. So
Right.
that's why you don't see many boats out here. These handful of boats you do see are just waiting on another boat to come out of the plant to make a complete load. Bass boats we ship 4 at a time. Walleye boats we ship 3 at a time. And of course the saltwater boats, they're 1 at a time.
How many shipments are you doing a week out of here?
It just depends on the load schedules and the volumes. We're shipping typically, it just depends. It's a hard number to nail down, honestly.
Yeah, a bunch.
Yeah. All right, Alan, so you've seen the whole process. You've seen how We build the boats. What we skip, we should have started here. This is where it all begins, right? This is what we call our tooling operation. This is where we do our engineering. This is where the molds are built. This is where really the true beginning of the process starts. So you can see a couple of small parts in here. These are some plugs that we have in process on some new models that'll be coming out. So at a very high level, you start with the plug, you cast a mold off of the plug. That mold goes to the production environment where we build the parts out of. This is where the plug building and mold building occurs.
Cool. This is the fun stuff.
This is the fun stuff.
I always find it interesting. Obviously, it's a little bit late. It's 4 o'clock now. The guys have clocked out and probably halfway to happy hour already, but definitely wanted to see this part where, I think that's the cool part, being able to design and innovate and come out with new ideas and stuff like that, and seeing, the final product obviously must be very fulfilling for you all. So cool. What else do we got here?
So we'll go one other place here. We have a small upholstery operation here where we do our own upholstery for the freshwater boats and a handful of the bay boats.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So it's big enough to get the job done. You can see, just kind of gazing around the operation here, you can see the foam and substrates on the walls. You can see the vinyls. We just got a load of vinyl in today. And this crate here, all the sewing machines for the seamstresses, and then we got the tables across the back where we do the assembly of the upholstery. And then on the racks directly behind us here, can't really see with the slide right over here, this is where the finished goods go. And as you can see, we don't have much because we build just in time to what's coming down the production line.
Right.
So having the vertical integration and being able to have this operation here allows us to really streamline and really keep a good, efficient process and flow going. So that you can see some freshwater boats here. We got bay boat hanging on the top shelf there. So we're, these guys do a good job over here, guys and gals. They build a really nice product, as you can see, and holds up really, really well.
Yeah, getting to be this far along with time, the amount of time that you guys have been out here, we keep seeing more and more and more, and it's just more and more impressive. It just doesn't end. So being able to, again, create this, organize this, obviously there's a lot of experience, a huge team behind it. It's been, incredibly impressive to us, honestly. We've been to a lot of factories. This has been one of the more impressive ones that we've been to. So, congrats again to the entire team, for building an incredible brand, and just, in both freshwater and saltwater. Again, just being at the beginning, I'm curious to see what you guys dream up here in the next several years. So,
got it. Well, thank you for coming out.
No, we really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Appreciate you
We've
guys
wanted
being
to do
here
this for a
very
while.
much.
So, by this point, the Miami Boat Show has come and gone by the time we get this thing out on our channel. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. We want to be able to, bring more of this information and get down and dirty into what really goes into these boats. It's such a intricate process, and if done right, it's incredibly impressive to witness. So we love diving in here with you guys. We appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully you guys get a lot of value out of it as well. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to share what we've learned, and if we can't answer you, we'll pass you to the professionals here alongside us. But again, thank you very much for the support and for watching this video. My name is Alan with Center Consoles Only, and we'll see you again soon.